Today is May 20th, 2021, and the time now is 10:46 a.m. And I am now calling open session to order. And if I have quorum is present. So we'll start with public comment. Do we have anybody that would care to make a public comment?
Do you see anybody, Newton, that is on?
Currently, there are only 3 people, that's our staff, so no public members.
Okay,
Okay, so having or hearing there's no public comment, then we'll proceed to the chair's report. And I would defer that first to Lori for a discussion about the potential candidates.
yeah, I thought that we could jump to our B on our section here to talk about the vacancies. So we have 6 candidates for currently 1 vacancy, although Douglas had indicated to me that he didn't know if he would be staying on to complete his term, and if he did, whether he would want to serve as vice chair or not. And so that might affect our discussion in terms of how many vacancies we have to fill. I don't know if Douglas, you've made any decisions about that, or what, so that we can kind of shape our discussion around that. And you're on mute, Douglas, sorry. There we go. Oh no.
Douglas, you're on mute. There you go. Can you hear us?
I can hear you, but that's not the mute part.
Okay.
Now we have you. Thank you, Douglas.
I want to facilitate the work of the commission, but I am 6 months into my retirement that I haven't yet done because I can't seem to get away. I just saw all the very excellent candidates and said, Chuck, you got to hire them all. And, this is an opportunity for me to go without leaving holes in the organization. So I'd like you to consider if the candidates are adequate to limit my tenure this time, and whether that means limit it totally or limit it to going to early next year. I'm comfortable with that, but I just think this is something I'm doing with the rest of my practice, and it's just an opportunity to do it well.
Okay, thank you, Douglas. So if if Douglas would like to step down, then we would have 2 attorney openings this time, and Douglas's term would be up after the July meeting. And then anybody that we recommend to the board to fill the vacancies, they're usually considered at the July meeting of the board and then appointed at like the September meeting. And then the first meeting they would be with us would be the October meeting. Jordan would be chair at that time, and then the new members would come in at that time. So on your things to consider is Jordan is currently the vice chair. And so the normal procedure is that he would move up to be chair. And then the commission would choose from the remaining commission members for the vice chair. Douglas would normally have done that, but since Douglas is stepping down, then what we usually do is look at the next members, and we try and alternate public member and attorney members. So unless there is any objection, it would be Melanie to be vice chair then next year, with Jordan as the chair. Is there anyone who would like to discuss that or has other considerations? It's up to the commission. Technically, I'm just telling you what our normal practice has been.
Do we need to make a motion?
We can do it all at once after you've talked about the candidates. If you like to say that we recommend Jordan for chair, Melanie for vice chair, and then our candidates are in like whatever order we're going to be putting them in after you've talked.
Okay.
If that's all right.
Okay. And
Okay.
Douglas, are you available to make the July meeting?
I am going cross-country with my older sister by car starting June the 18th. And so I can't tell for sure.
Okay,
We wouldn't be able to appoint anybody new by then anyway, though. So, if Douglas can't make it, then so be it.
okay,
We will miss him, but hopefully he will be there,
yes.
at least to say goodbye. All right, so then we sent you a summary of the candidates that we have for the now 2 attorney vacancies. We have their full applications and resumes that we reviewed because it's all public matters now and that we present and post the materials. We didn't post everything with all of their addresses and all of their information on the public website, but we do have all that. So we tried to summarize their experience. And also Robert and Matt and I did brief interviews with 5 of the candidates. 5 of the 6 are attorneys. One is an attorney who is in California as the multi-jurisdictional practice member. He is not a California attorney. And our other candidate is actually a non-attorney. She's a public member person who applied. She was not available for interview. She didn't respond to the email I sent about that. But if we're interested in her, we can still try to contact her, or we can just keep her in mind for next year and reach out to her again then. She might have been realized that it was the attorney position that technically was open this year, although our rules say that there can be no more than 3 attorneys. So if there were no qualified attorney candidates, or if there's some other reason, we could have somebody who was a non-attorney fill one of these positions. But that being said, I think that everybody who we do have that are attorneys are good candidates. And so I just wanted to open up to see if people have thoughts on about the various candidates that we have, and any questions about their qualifications, or what Robert's impression was from the interviews that we did.
Right, so Jordan, you had a question?
I did. I had more of a statement. Forgive me, folks. I really, really wanted to be here today and participate, but I got notification late yesterday that I have to jump off. I have a pressing meeting at 11 o'clock. I just wanted to make sure that folks knew how I felt about these candidates. It's a tremendous pool. I was looking at the resumes, the backgrounds, and the one thing I want to kind of add to the conversation, I'm not sure I'm going to have a chance to vote on a specific member or make a motion, but I think it's important to really emphasize, I think it's always healthy to consider diversity on the board, not only diversity in gender or ethnic background, but when we talk about approach, experience, where they live in the state, geography is important, and professional background. We have a pretty good pool of folks who have either they're either sole practitioners, or they work for firms or for government agencies. I think it's important to look at gaps where we have in the board. We are a 43 million person state. We have 5 people in this body. It's important to have capture as much diversity and background as humanly possible. So I really hope that we get an amazing board member here, and I wish I could be part of that vote. But unfortunately, it looks like I'm going to have to jump off here in the next minute or two. So Robert, I'm sure we will have a wonderful new individual join us. And Douglas, hopefully they have that seersucker fashion style that you have, because that coat is great.
Jordan, did you want to rank your candidates? Betty was going to record on like a grid if people had 1 through 6 of how they would rank people, or do you not feel that you talked enough about it, or it's up to you?
I will defer to the board. I feel there are great things about a lot of the candidates. Some focus more on their the population they serve, which I think is important to remember, especially being the client security fund. We look at folks who are disenfranchised by individuals. There are some people who are in the southern part of the state, which I think is important, being from the southern part of the state. There are individuals who have some government background. Also, being somebody with some government background, I think is good. I don't have a preference in ranking. Again, I think all the candidates are tremendous, and I'm sure there'll be a robust conversation about who will be on the board. My hopes are that they understand the purpose and the vision of the Client Security Fund, and that is foremost in the conversation. And really, from the board, what I'm hoping for is doing a kind of a brief gap analysis where somebody who is different, could bring a unique voice to the board, will be considered.
Thank you. We tried to address that when we
Yep.
met with them.
Yes.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I think we could
I appreciate
fulfill
it.
that.
What was that, Robert?
I think we could fulfill that, that aspect with these candidates. So that's a good point.
Absolutely. I wish I could stay on for further conversation, but I do need to jump off. Thank you all.
Take care.
Hopefully, fingers crossed, I can jump back on this call in about 45 minutes to an hour.
thank you, Jordan.
Okay. Thank you,
you,
Jordan.
Jordan.
Good to see you.
Always good to see you guys.
Okay, do
Okay, Lori. So
you want to go through each candidate, Robert? Like start with
well,
the,
that's what I was thinking.
sure.
And so the candidates, Lori did a great job on putting a summary of each candidate. And we had a good discussion with all the candidates. And looking at the issue, like Jordan was saying about diversity, and I agree with him because there's a lot of different avenues for diversity. And a couple people I was impressed with, and diversity wise and also experience wise, and what potentially they could bring to the board. So I mean, with that, you've had a chance to read the summaries. So I would propose to you so maybe I'll start my ranking list. First, I would propose Finglin Liu as number 1. Number 2, Kristen Pofall. Number 3, number 3, Edwin Salgado. Number 4, James Arnold. And number 5, Karen Scarborough.
And then 6 would be
And-
Candace. Okay.
Yes, 6 to be Candace, yes. And I say that particularly Fanglin, if I would tell you about her, she is multi cultural. She also practices or was practicing in China. And so plus she also practices in immigration. And we've had a lot of immigration cases. So she may bring in a good perspective of that. Kristen practices with family law and dependency. And I know we have a fair amount of family law cases, so I think she would bring a good perspective with that.
I didn't put on there where Kristen's from. She's up in Northern California. She's in Fairfield, California.
Right, so we have some diversity of geographically as well. So that would be my recommendations. But altogether, we have some really good candidates. So maybe we could go down and talk about who's next? Who next would have a comment about it? Melanie, did you have a chance to look them over?
I did review them. I wasn't sure how much of a well-rounded picture I was going to get from the paragraph. So I was kind of more interested in hearing about the interviews. My first question is there anyone you wouldn't want to work with for 4 years after interviewing them? So you know, that kind of thing I don't really get a feel for after reading a paragraph, right? So
Go ahead, Robert. I think we had talked about this a little bit.
Yes, now, one of the candidates is not clear about his licensing. And Lori, wasn't that James Arnold?
Yes, although our rules, I did check, there's no rule against having someone who is a multi-jurisdictional practice admittee be on the commission, so it's not barred by the rules. And then otherwise, I mean, everybody seemed interested and dedicated to what the commission does. They all expressed that they appreciate the work that the commission does, that they had the time to devote to the commission that was necessary, and that they support the work that the program does. Years ago, our former director would talk about she'd get people on the commission who said, I don't believe in paying people from a fund like this, and I don't think that we should be reimbursing people. And we'd always think, well, why did you apply to this commission then? And clearly we didn't have anybody like that. They all were interested and dedicated to the mission of the fund to reimburse the people who've been victimized by attorney theft. So I thought it was a good pool of candidates. Matt, I don't think you had any issues either. And Robert, I think we all thought they were good, the people that we interviewed.
Right. I thought each one would make a good fit for the commission.
All right, Douglas, did you have any thoughts from looking through the summaries?
Well, I was amazed at how parallel our ranking was. I do think Edwin, we need to have some Hispanic, but your first choice was mine as well. We also, have to be gender neutral. So having I don't want to have a reverse issue with men and women. The commission, the only other thing that I've thought about is the candidate who works for the DMV, whether they're going to have enough time, because that's time important thing that she does.
And that was Karen. From her interview, I didn't get the same sort of vibe about the, I don't know if excitement's the right word, but the enthusiasm for the opportunity. I didn't get the same vibe from her. And Edwin, he had a lot of emphasis on social justice, and that was really important to him. And we had a little bit different take. I think Lori had a little different feeling of him. I don't know if he can apply his social justice goals to this position or not.
so Edwin and I went to school together, and I've talked to him about that and kind of told him one of the harder things is when you have to deny someone who has a really emotionally compelling case, but they didn't have the documentation. And so he is familiar with that. But yeah, I was surprised at how strongly social justice his application came across after I had talked to him. And
Right, and I don't know if this,
it might not be the best fit for him, but he is very passionate. And
Oh,
I mean,
yes.
I get he's been texting a lot. Like after the interview, he's like, "Oh my God, I bombed the interview. I feel so terrible." And I'm like, "Chill out, man. I'm sure you were fine."
No, he was fine. He has definite passion for that.
Yeah.
But I just something about the feeling that I don't know if this is the avenue for him
Mhm.
to pursue a social justice, maybe his agenda or whatever he's looking for. I don't know if it's the right avenue for that. And Lori thought he would fit in. He likely would, and it might be a good chance for him. So I don't have. It's not like I have something against him,
Mhm.
but I did
Yeah,
like.
no, I understand that.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, I've talked to him a lot about the social justice aspect and trying to frame him a little more for what his expectations should be. So I was surprised that he's still, after I told him to maybe take that out of the application, and it was still there.
Well, I mean, it's
and-
good because we know where he's what
Yeah.
he's thinking.
Yeah, exactly. But in addition to being Latino, he's also only in his 20s. So that is, I know I look young, I'm 37. So like, just in the realm of, representing different people, he's also a different age group, but he's also lives in San Bernardino, which is where Jordan is. So I feel like we're kind of losing a lot of our Northern California contingent, and maybe that should also factor into our decision and who we take onto the board is making sure we don't lose the representation of the other half of the state.
Yeah. So
He did work for a public defender's office, and he does PI work. So that brings, those perspectives. As you said, he's also young, so that's a different demographic.
mhm.
And while the social justice side, it's not, our committee isn't here to figure out how to get more representation to people who need it or things like that, but we do direct sort of social justice, if you will, by helping these people who have been wronged. We give them actual tangible help in the form of their money back, hopefully that they can then use if they still need representation and things like that. So it's not quite direct, but it's still help, obviously, a way that we're doing that sort of work. But you're right, there are the people we just can't help, and it's frustrating sometimes on those kinds of cases. So the commission obviously has to be aware that there's those cases we deny. So
Well, do we want to take a vote? So it sounds like Douglas and I have the same thoughts about our first choice. Melanie, do you have any?
and we haven't heard from Joe yet. Is Joe back on the call, Newton? I can't see whoever's on.
I'm back.
Okay. We haven't heard from Joe yet. His thoughts.
I think I kind of echoed what Melanie said about just reading a couple sentences or a paragraph and trying to get something out of that. But I think I would probably rank them, if I had to rank them, as Feng Long as number 1, Kristen as number 2, and James as number 3. The other ones I haven't ranked, but I thought those were the top 3. And I just liked the solo practitioners and some of their interests. It just kind of attracted me a little bit. And I always like to have an interview with somebody and look at their facial gestures and their body language and that kind of thing. So that helps a lot as well. But just reading these couple of sentences was really hard and really tough to kind of say, okay, well, these are the best candidates.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And thank you. I know it's hard to get a feel.
Okay, so we have 3. So Melanie, what do you think?
It's interesting though, because like I kind of from the paragraphs gravitated towards Karen, but it sounds like in the interview she was less enthusiastic. So I'm trying to kind of rethink my rankings and trying to not be overly biased towards my
Yes.
classmate. So I definitely think that we need somebody who's a practicing lawyer. So while I'm a licensed attorney, I don't practice law actively. And I think that we need Northern California. So I believe that's Kristen fills that bill, correct?
Yes.
So I think she'd probably be my number one. And then can I just put a tie for Edwin and Fengling for
Yes.
number two? I'm going to tie them because I really can't decide between them. But it does sound like a lot of people are leaning towards Fanglin, who from the very short paragraph I wasn't super impressed with. But if everyone else thought that she was good, then I'll rank her two along with Edwin.
If she
I
came
can- I
across
can say-
enthusiastic in the interview and again, her immigration background is an area that we haven't really had on the commission, so we thought that would be helpful. And that came across, I think, a little more in the interview, so.
Mhm.
I mean, if you don't feel that you have a good sense, we don't normally do it, but we could notice an additional meeting and arrange for them to do interviews with all of you, if you would like. We just want to try and get this to the board by their July meeting. So, we have to give 10 days notice for a meeting. We could try and set something like that up. It's up to the commission if you think that you want to all see them in interviews, or if you can go by, what Robert's told you about the interviews we had and then their backgrounds.
Hey, Lori,
Yes.
have any of the candidates been on any of the past lists that we've been, the cases that we've been going through in the past?
They have not, and they check and make sure that nobody has any discipline or anything, and before they bring them to us through the appointments office. So
Thank you.
that's a good question, and there's not an issue with that.
Right. So
So
it sounds like we have a consensus. I mean, not to address Melody's concern. It sounds like if we did a vote, it sounds like Fanglin would be rated number one. And it sounds like Kristen would be number two. I would concur with Melanie that Edwin, certainly consider him.
Should we just do an interview of maybe the top three candidates or something? Or I guess, Joseph, what is your feeling? Because you also mentioned that you felt the paragraphs were not sufficient.
Yeah, it was hard for me to grab more. It's like I wanted to ask more questions and I couldn't, so.
Okay, so maybe we do a limited callback.
yeah, we can do that. I mean, and although really, if you're doing three, I mean, it's two more if you're doing, fairly quick. I don't know if you want to talk to all of them, but it would just be a matter of your availability for everyone. With we couldn't do it any sooner than 10 days out. So we would have to plan that for you.
So it would be June, since the 31st is the Memorial Day.
Yeah. So we could try and set up just the limited topic of the review of interviews. Like the first week of June, we could find a time when everybody could do that. If that's what the commission would like, we can do that.
Does anybody want to make a motion for that?
I'll put a motion on to do an interview if somebody wants to second it, or if
I
not.
second it.
Okay, thank you, Douglas. I was like, or it can fall flat on its face. That's fine.
And how many people are we allowed to select this time? One,
Two.
two?
Yes, two. There would be one, but if you're stepping down a year early, Douglas, then there'll be two. So, okay. Betty, do you want to take a vote on the motion to schedule a special commission session meeting to interview the candidates? We'll have an open session. It will all be done in open. We would interview them and then you would make your rankings after the interviews.
I will now call each name to vote on this item. Please respond yes or no to indicate your vote on this matter. Robert Bowman,
Yes.
thank you. Joseph Domino,
Yes.
thank you. Douglas Hassel,
Yes, ma'am.
thank you. Melanie O'Day,
Yes, please.
thank you.
All right, thank you. We'll get on that as soon as we can so that we can get that scheduled. If anybody knows they definitely have some conflicts or something that week, let me know. We'll send out an email after the meeting to try and see when everybody's available. All right, thank you. I appreciate all your thought that's gone into that. And I appreciate that, you know, I understand everybody wanted to meet them. I just didn't know if we'd have time to set it up at this meeting. So I think this will work out well. We can still get everybody some face time, if you will, with the candidates. So thank you. All right, do you want to go back, Robert? Did you have a chair's report that you want to get back to?
Okay, well, so returning to the chair's report. So I'd like to again thank you, Lori and Matt, for allowing me to participate in the interviews. And I think everybody's going to get a good sense of these people. They are good candidates, so that's good. Then secondly, again, to brag about the hard work that you guys have been doing. There's lots and lots of cases, and there's a lot of cases that require, I'm sure, a lot of background work. So kudos on all of that. Then lastly, to Douglas, hopefully, Douglas, we get to see you again. And good luck on your travels if not.
Thank you.
And Lori, I think I have, what, 1 or 2 more meetings, July?
You have just July. Yes, one more
Right.
meeting.
Right. Right, I'm gonna miss everybody after that. So Lori, I think that's all I have. Now we'll proceed to the program director's report.
Thank you, Robert. So I just wanted to update you on our statistics. I don't know if we had our final statistics at our February meeting from what we accomplished in 2020. So I just wanted to give you a brief overview of those again. We paid out 11.75 million in 2020, which was the most that's ever been paid out by the commission in 1 year. We resolved 1,259 applications, and of those, 832 were paid. We received fewer applications than we had anticipated last year. So along with not too many new applications coming in, and with the work we did to really work on to get through a lot of the cases, we decreased our inventory. So we're down to about 1,500 or so cases. At the end of the year, we actually ended with 1,595. Cases have started to rise a little bit coming in this year. I guess people are waking up and coming back out of the pandemic to deal with things they might have pushed aside. So far this year, we've received 196 new applications. And last year we got 477 total. So we're already, getting more than we did last year at this pace. It's a little bit of a slow start this year because we had so many denies. I think you'll notice on the commission, there were a lot of, on the calendar, a lot of cases that just don't qualify. So we paid out a little under $1 million so far through April this year. We don't have our May statistics yet, but we've reimbursed 64 applications, $822,000. We've denied or terminated 161 cases. There'll be more pays coming through soon, and everybody's really been working hard and trying to get through all the inventory. Last year, we not only reduced our inventory, paid out the most we ever had, but we also decreased the amount of time it's been taking to get a case from when we get jurisdiction to be able to move forward on it. until it's been resolved. So all of the cases that had sort of built up through the loan mod years, we've really been getting through. There's still some that are hanging around, but we really got through a lot of those now, and we're getting closer to where once we have jurisdiction, we can almost start to work on it, start getting the investigation going and all that. We're still maybe not quite there with being able to handle the cases and within our goal of handling it in like 12 months from jurisdiction until it's resolved, but we're getting a lot closer now. So it was a good year to really get through a lot of cases last year with the money we had to spend. Our goal for this year is 8.4 million. So we're really gonna have to kick it into gear to get through the cases that we still have. It could be that there just aren't the cases to pay out that amount this year, whether they still need investigation or those that don't qualify. But we do have 8.4 million in our budget. And by the end of the year, we'll tell you basically either that we've paid that or, you know, that we've looked at all the cases that were assigned and, you know, they're in process, but they just weren't ready to have a decision made on them. So the state bar's fee bill is proceeding. I haven't heard, there's nothing new really in terms of what the fund will get. We'll get our regular amount, assuming all goes well. We remember we got extra funds last year, but we don't really need it at this stage. So we'll go back to our $40 assessment with $10 from inactive attorneys. The board is still searching for a new executive director. They have meetings scheduled in the next few weeks. There's one on May 25th, one on May 29th, and one on June 1st to consider the candidates for both the executive director position and a new chief trial counsel. So presumably sometime in June, they might have a decision after those meetings. And finally, the ABA Client Protection Forum, which is a national forum that discusses client protection. A lot of the funds in other states are client protection funds. We call ourselves a client security fund. It touches on other topics that affect being able to help victims of attorneys. That is being held, most of the events are on June 4th this year. It's a virtual event. And we wanted to see if anybody's interested in attending. We can sign you up for that if you would like to attend. Newton, do you want to talk a little bit about anything that's being offered or any of the, you know, what's going to happen at the forum?
Or so, as Lori mentioned, it's going to be a virtual event and basically panels and discussions on topics related to client protection funds and other areas of interest related. So this year, you'll see that we have sort of the crystal ball, I think, is a returning from last year and years before, where it just talks about different things in the client security fund that you should look for different things that have been popping up that are common trends or themes. And another one that they will be discussing is sort of recruiting for client protection fund commissions and boards and how to ensure that you have sort of continuity of your commission or board. I will be producing, but not moderating the panel on alternative legal providers. So this is basically talking about the new jurisdictions that are discussing non-lawyers who may practice in a limited capacity in certain specific legal areas. And so there's also going to be a social event that's going to be along with the National Conference on Professional Responsibility. They're a little bit similar in that their goal is sort of client protection, but their topics are a bit different. So that's all, most of it's going to be on June 4th, and I'm hoping it will be a great event.
Thank you, Newton. So if anybody's interested in attending, please let us know. We can sign you up so that you can attend. Well, some staff members will also be attending. Again, it's virtual, so it's a good year to log in and learn about what some of the other states do and how they operate if you're interested. Please email Betty or I and let us know if you want us to sign you up.
Newton, can you send an email out to everybody about that?
Sure, I'll send it right now.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Newton. I think that's all I had on my director's report. Does anybody have any questions?
of a statement. I want to tell you and your staff just what a good job you've done in the last couple of years, just working like crazy. And although it makes more work for us, I am very pleased with what you've done so far, and you can be proud of what you and your staff have done.
Thank you, Douglas. We appreciate hearing that. Thank you.
Right, I would concur with that. Okay, so next we'll move on to, is there a motion to approve the open meeting minutes for the March meeting? Anybody
I
like
move to approve.
a second?
I second.
Second,
Okay. Okay, so Betty, if you could please take roll.
I will now call on each name to vote this item. Please respond yes or no to indicate your vote to this matter. Robert Bowman,
Yes, I.
thank you. Joseph DeMeno,
Yes.
thank you. Douglas Hassel,
yes,
thank you. Valerie O'Day,
Yes.
thank you.
Okay. So having heard roll call, motion is carried. So does anybody have any other business to discuss? Okay, so with that, the open session is adjourned at 11:27 a.m. Today, 5/20/21. We'll now proceed to closed session.
Thank you, everyone. So you need to end this meeting and go on to the other link that we have.